Becky Adlman on Simic Titan.
Yeah, this deck is hot. I mean, a lot of people are dogging on it, but I think this deck is excellent.
It is Oko Valakut. That's a nice-looking deck.
Yeah, so this is a normally...
Actually, apologies. This is Oko Field of the Dead. That's the land.
Yes, sorry. So it's Simic Titan. It's pure Simic. This is kind of like a hybridization of both Titan Valakut and Primal Amulet?
Amulet Titan.
Amulet Titan. Or it's not called Primal Amulet. That's the 4-mana one.
Right.
Amulet of Vigor. It's kind of like a hybrid of those two strategies. Instead of killing your opponent with the Valakut the Molten Pinnacle, you're just making a bunch of zombies. Occasionally they play one copy of Craterhoof Behemoth that they tutor for via Summoner's Pact or what have you. But mostly the deck just tries to generate 6 mana on turn 3. That's the goal. And if you're able to do that, Primeval Titan does a bunch of heavy lifting, and you get 8 virtual copies of it.
Schirllo on Simic Urza. I believe the Simic Titan deck is a Dom Harvey original, if I'm not mistaken.
I have heard such things, but I can neither confirm nor deny.
Sure. Seen some conversation, and I know that he at least has been working on the deck. About this matchup specifically, Dom believes if you get some Field of the Deads going, you can overpower basically anything, Simic Urza included. Setup right now, Adlman's on the 7, Schirllo's on a 5.
Yeah, I think the biggest change, though, from Simic Titan from Amulet Titan is effectively just not playing the 1-mana artifact of Amulet of Vigor so that you're never really vulnerable to Oko. Because I think Oko, Thief of Crowns, was excellent against the versions that play Amulet of Vigor because they're so reliant on Amulet to do a lot of the heavy lifting as far as mana generation is concerned. Mm-hmm. But cutting that and just trading it out for like Arboreal Grazer, Sakura Tri-Belter, and things like that not only makes your deck a bit more consistent because you're just trying to hit 6 mana on turn 3, but also just makes you not vulnerable to the things your opponent's playing. And so you're goldfishing more against these decks that are trying to be more interactive, and I think that's what you want to do.
Sure. Really fast start here on the draw for Schirllo. It was a fetch to 19 for Snow-Covered Island. Astrolabe, Bobble, Opal, Emery.
Man, what's that like? Turn on Mox Opal on turn 1?
On a 5-card hand, no less.
I played this deck, something similar to this deck at the Invitational. That happened twice in 8 matches. Turn 1 Emery.
Ooh, here is a nice interaction. So on turn 1, Adlman suspended Search for Tomorrow. Now on turn 2, still gets to free cast Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, the Suspend Search for Tomorrow, not technically casting the spell until next turn when it comes off of Suspend. So, yeah, that Once Upon a Time pretty hot here. I love it.
Castle Garenbrig picked up.
And with so many potent lands to find, this Amulet Titan deck, the Simic Titan deck actually utilizes Once Upon a Time extremely well. Finds Castle Garenbrig, so you ramp a bit. Helps you find Arboreal Grazer or Sakura Tri-Belter to hit that extra ramp. It's really nice pickup for this archetype.
Schirllo is going to take a look at the top card of Adlman's deck before going back his way. Draws for Bobble, draws for turn.
No other accelerant for Adlman, though, so this could give Schirllo time he needs to recoup that mulligan to 5. Already has done so a bit with the Emery, probably bringing back the Mishra's Bobble to draw an extra card this turn.
He'll fetch to 18 for a second Snow-Covered Island. It's like Stoic Rebuttal in the hand.
That's one that I've seen pick up play a little bit recently. Not the hugest fan of it. I think Metallic Rebuke being able to potentially only cost 1 mana is huge. And a Mana Leak effect and a hard counter are pretty similar in Modern these days.
So Emery's going to bring back Mishra's Bobble, and the play is going to be Oko, Thief of Crowns.
And now he's trying to consider if he wants to plus for a food token or turn one of these artifacts to a 3/3 and start attacking. Chooses to make the food token to keep the artifact count high. So if he does turn the, let's say, Astrolabe into a 3/3, that turns off the Mox Opal.
There was no accelerant for Adlman, but here is an end step Once Upon a Time. Finds Sakura Tri-Belter. And in the upkeep, this Search for Tomorrow will go off.
Yeah. Here, Becky's going to maybe go get an island so that she can cast something like Oko, Thief of Crowns to bridge the gap before the Primeval Titan comes down, because If I'm not mistaken, she doesn't have a way to cast Primeval Titan this turn, even with Castle Garenbrig, 1 mana short, turning that on. But could have another mana accelerant in here. Could just have an Oko, maybe a little bit of interaction.
Island was the find. She will draw for turn.
These decks playing just an outlandish number of lands to be able to make a Royal Grazer into a powerhouse. Counterstones is a hot one. It's going to make Primeval Titan uncounterable more than likely.
Yep, there's Cavern Souls. We'll get confirmation. It is, in fact, on Giant. And then Sakura Tribe Elder cast.
Yeah, we see, let me see how many copies that Becky actually has in this deck. I'm pretty sure it's at least 3. Oh, it's only 2. Becky does have 2 copies of Cavern Souls to make that Primeval Titan uncounterable. I like it.
So once again, Schirllo is going to bobble Adlman. Draws for bobble, draws for turn. Second Astrolabe, first spell here.
Can Emery back bobble? Oko can turn one of the artifacts into a 3/3 so he can start applying some amount of pressure.
The old Astrolabe has been turned into an elk. Oko up to 7 loyalty. That doesn't take long.
I mean, it's already unkillable.
Emery brings back Bobble, second Bobble from hand, deployed.
Yeah, but with the Mox Opal and the Island up, does have Stoke Rebuttal at the ready. But unfortunately for him, if Becky has a Primeval Titan, it's coming down next turn through that Cavern of Souls.
Elk rumbles across, blocked by Sakura Tribe Elder. Elder goes and finds snow-covered forest.
One of the coolest things about the Simic Titan deck, and even the version we saw last round that Ricky Hayashi was playing, both the Boral Grazer and Sakura Tribe Elder insulate your life total quite well against the aggressive decks, giving you a lot of time to find your Primeval Titan, which I really like.
On our middle table, Trevor Petrilli up a game against Caleb Scherer. Burn kind of historically advantaged against Storm.
Yeah, the card Adlman of the Great Revel has an effect that has been traditionally a knockout punch to a Storm deck, and also it's just one of the best cards in the format. Becky here has the required 6 mana to Primeval Titan, but can't activate the Cavern unless she has another land. So, ooh, it's a Bajuka Bog. She might want to wait one more turn.
Bog takes care of the graveyard, and there is Primeval Titan.
Oh, and that's a beating. Because even though the Cavern of Souls is on the battlefield, you need to spend 4 generic-ish mana to activate the Castle Garenbrig. So the uncounterable effect is not active yet.
Yeah, still Rebuttal able to catch it because of that castle. Untapped land would have been preferred to the Bog, you got to figure.
Yeah, but that's kind of the downside sometimes of playing those utility lands that you can find off Primeval Titan. Sometimes you just draw them. It's the only land that you draw.
Yeah, so still no third land for Schirllo, but a backup Mox Opal means he gets to Urza now.
Yeah, and with Emery, can also just generate that extra 4th mana at will. Can't use it to cast something like Cryptic Command defensively, but can certainly cast Urza here pretty easily.
He lost 1 Bobble to the Bog, but he's going to get back the other one. That one was still on the battlefield, and he had used that going into this turn.
All right, so Urza was the play. Now Schirllo's in Hyperdrive. Has access to so much more mana now thanks to the fast mana ability of Urza. But these Simic versions use that mana defensively quite often with things, various counterspells, you know. And Archmage's Charm has become slowly one of the more picked up cards in this version since it's so versatile.
Oko goes to 8, and a pair of Elkstrolabes rumble across, Adlman to 14.
Yeah, but a Primeval Titan here could give Becky quite a few zombies.
Well, Summoner's Pack should find just that.
I keep pausing here just to make sure that there's no response, but it looks like a hard cast Metallic Rebuke from those 3 artifacts, and if Becky decides to pay 3, she can't cast Primeval Titan this turn and has to pay for the pack next turn.
Yeah, really heads up play there by Schirllo. You can't Stoic Rebuttal the Titan, because the Cavern Soul is on the table.
Right. Definitely a great use of the reactive interaction from Nick Schirllo this game so far. I think Becky's in a rock and a hard place. Almost lethal next turn or guaranteed lethal next turn. I haven't counted yet. Because the artifacts becoming 3/3 Elks means they're no longer artifacts. So that Matthias Hunt token is a bit small.
I believe it's a 4. So there's 12 points on the table. But the Oko represents an additional 2 damage if you wake up Mox Opal, -1 artifact, +2 power.
Sure. He has a bunch of mana at his disposal too, so I'm assuming that that can be found. So Becky here needs to probably put up some piece of defense since she can't cast Primeval Titan this turn. But now the question becomes, can she still pay 4 next turn and cast Primeval Titan? And I think the answer is no.
So she did pay to resolve that pact. Plays a Vesuva tapped. Gonna Bajuka Bog again.
Yeah, and that does eliminate the Mox Opal from the graveyard, and that makes it a little harder for Schirllo to play a 4-mana spell if he's unable to draw a second Mox Opal or a land. Or third Mox Opal or a land.
Engineered Explosives on 1 for Adlman. This is actually kind of nice.
Yeah, that's a hot one.
Clear up those 2 Elks.
Yeah, cleans up the Elks because Astrolabe does maintain the name and casting cost. Just no longer has any text box and becomes a 3/3 Elk. I would say that Schirllo's in the driver's seat here, but Becky does have some play. This game could go either way still.
Let's see how he wants to navigate this turn. No longer going to be looking for lethal, because that explosives is pretty cleanly knocking him off of that this turn. So wants to think a couple turns down the line at this point.
Could still come in for a chunk. Can turn the food token into a 3/3. And that combined with the construct and the Urza itself represents a reasonable amount of damage.
Yeah, so Oko does animate the food.
Has an Astrolabe in hand, but can't really play it for fear of the Engineered Explosives. I assume that we're just going to see an attack from Schirllo here. Just come on in with everybody. Maybe not the construct if he thinks he might need the mana. Since it's not a lethal attack, that extra mana usage could be important for development this turn.
He does play the Astrolabe pre-combat.
It's an interesting play. And I don't want to say that it's wrong, because it's very clear that he thought about this play for a while. And I think that there's a chance that he wants to do this to force the Engineered Explosives, because it's not actually a lethal attack without it. And there's a chance that Becky just, waits till next turn to do it and catches even more stuff. His hand might have a bunch of 1-mana stuff that he wants to kind of unlock. He also could just get more artifacts in the graveyard for Imri.
Sure. So the explosives does go off, but it looks like 7 points still coming in. Fully half of Adlman's life total. And then Emery recast Astrolabe from the graveyard. The Gilded Goose added to the squad.
There's just so much juice in the tank for these Simic Urza decks. Every single card generates a permanent or draws a card or both. It's just mentally taxing to play these decks as well, especially over 2 days. I can only imagine.
Yeah, even just on turn 1, Schirllo had 6 permanents, right?
Yeah, that's kind of like the Mox Opal effect, though. I'm not really... that's something we've had to do for forever. But usually when you do that, those permanents are inconsequential. Now it's Bobble, and then that combined with Imri gets kind of out of hand.
So Adlman pays for Pact, then casts Search for Tomorrow, finds Snow-Covered Forest.
Well, unless Becky has an Arboreal Grazer or like land plus Current Tribal Elder, the game looks to be over. It looks to be over even with either of those things, honestly. Unless maybe Feel the Dead comes off of this here, but no.
Yeah, I mean, Schirllo can just trade some artifact for the Grazer with the Oko, and that'll wrap things up.
Yeah, I think even just turning like Mox Opal or Mr. Bobble into a 3/3 also does it.
Yeah, 2 Elks plus Urza with the Construct blocked is still 7.
Yep.
A lot of ways to do it.
Yep, gonna go ahead and do the due diligence. Putting a artifact from the graveyard on the battlefield too, just to get that extra damage. And Becky are gonna pack it up. Simic Urza taking down Simic Titan here in game number 1.
So Schirllo joins teammate Trevor Petrilli being up a game, and it looks like Matt Bimonte also up a game. So just 3 on the right side here.
Oh, we could have a clean sweep. Oh, nope.
Never mind.
Director error.
Director Rob blew it.
That is quite possibly the first time Rob has blown anything.
I'm not going to touch that. All right, players are going to sideboard here. Becky Adlman, 3 Mystical Dispute.
I didn't mean it like
Abrupt
that.
Decay. Like what? 2
Like
Abrupt
nothing.
Decay, 2 Ashiok, Dreamwinder, 2 Dismember, 2 Damping Sphere, 1 Veil of Summer, a Thragtusk, a Reclamation Sage, and an Engineered Explosives.
The problem with the Simic Urza deck, in my opinion, is that traditional disenchants do basically nothing. Remember when I said almost every permanent makes permanent?
Yeah.
It's because almost every permanent makes an artifact. The artifact is inconsequential. You know, does a thing, kind of. Part of the whole game plan. Nothing really screams to me like, oh, I really need this Abrupt Decay to kill it. And that, to me, that is the hardest part to swallow about the Simic Urza deck, is that the interaction points are just not very good. So Becky has to be completely aggressive here and has to basically forego interaction in favor of trying to Primeval Titan as quickly as possible with protection. I think that means Veil of Summer and Mystical Dispute. I think those 2 cards are definitely going to come in here. And as far as like Reclamation Sage is concerned, it's a 1-of that you can get with Summoner's Pact, so she may want it just to blow up like some lands or whatever that Schirllo is going to be, some artifact that Schirllo might bring in to interact with her. I think Dismember also could be potentially good just for containing things like Emery or Urza. I don't really know what she's going to take out, though. Her whole deck is basically Ramp Titan. You know, What do you change in that scenario? I don't know.
Figure the plan's still very much just trying to get to Field of the Dead faster.
Right.
All right, for Schirllo, sideboard is 3 Mystical Dispute. They got that in common, but then we take a turn. 3 Blood Moon, 3 Veil of Summer, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Dismember, a Ceremonious Rejection, and a Weather the Storm.
Here, like in game 1, we're going to see Schirllo be very reactive and try to basically become the control deck if he's not already the control deck. And I think he can do that a number of different ways. This version of Simic Urza is splashing red lightly for Blood Moon off of both Astrolabe, Mox Opal, and some of those fetch lands. Probably has Steam Vents. I haven't even looked at the list. I assume there's Steam Vents. But Blood Moon here, going to be quite good against the Field of the Dead deck for obvious reasons. Nothing else in the sideboard really stands out. I don't think you want Mystical Dispute. Deck is mostly green, has a few blue cards worth countering, but not worth having a dead Mystical Dispute in your hand for most of the game.
All right, so here on this very channel, twitch.tv/StarCityGames, we're doing Versus Live every Tuesday and Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Time was when Todd was on the show, but it's still pretty dang good. We got Corey Baumeister and Ross Merriam. Yeah,
Corey, a great addition to the cast of Versus Live. I had the pleasure working with him for about a month before I moved out to sunny California. Versus Live is just an awesome show where we showcase decks that did well the previous week. And I say we because that's how I always apologies. Showcase decks every week that did well the weekend before. Occasionally the boys or our special guests, whoever they may be, will bring something spicy to the table they've been working on over the last couple weeks. And occasionally we like to do fun stuff, like do weird stipulations and things like that. Preview season is upon us, so if you want some hot standard decks featuring Theros Beyond Death, or you want to see some of those cards seen play in Modern or Pioneer, I think the Versus Live is definitely the place. those guys get their hands on, not real versions of the card early, but we make playtest copies to try out in the room to see how those cards feel. And so if you want to get a know for how those cards are going to feel, make sure to check out Versus Live. Every Tuesday and Thursday, the next few weeks should be really good. That's 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
You got a deck you're working on with the new Theros cards? Just tweet it at Ross Merriam.
Yeah, he'll probably play it if it looks sick.
If he likes it.
Yeah. But don't tweet at Corey because he's too innocent. Just leave him alone.
Yeah.
He's like a
You
bird.
should send all of your tweets at Ross Merriam.
Yes.
Just all of your tweets.
Especially.
Instead of like signing off, just at Ross Hunnits.
Yeah. He needs to update that name.
He does.
That was a joke from about 5 years ago that never really took off. But it was fun while it lasted.
5 years isn't a very long time to Ross.
Are you saying because he's old?
Yes.
He's younger than me.
Yes.
He's younger than you.
Is that true?
How old are you?
30.
He just turned 30.
That's messed
I
up.
think. Maybe he's 31.
Ah.
Oh, Rob says 31.
Ha-ha.
Okay. Haha, got him. Old man Rob.
Take that.
Freaking just probably 6 months younger than you or whatever. All right, we got a match here, though. Let's talk about that.
All right, fine. Adlman's going to start out suspending Search for Tomorrow once again. Schirllo, I believe both players on 7 this time. Remember, Schirllo was on 5 in that first game.
Yeah, but card economy is irrelevant in that deck. Like I said, everything generates permanent.
He drew the good ones.
Everything cycles and has an ability. Did draw the good ones. Emery will make up for a mulligan quite fast. Okay, buddy. All right. Yeah, you know what? Once every 4 matches, sure. Every single game I see on camera, no. Not fair.
It's a lot of permanence.
Yeah, it is.
Double Bobble, Astrolabe, Mox Opal, Emery. Flipped over a Blood Moon. Cat's out of the bag on that one.
Yeah, so, Adlman probably going to be digging for basics when necessary, but for the most part, that's mostly there to shut off the in-game lands, not the mana colored generators. 2 baubles in the grave, going to draw 2 cards, and then the draw for the turn. And now we got a grip full with an active Emery on turn 1. Or on turn 2 active, but.
Got an Oko in the holding. A lot of real fun magic coming up here.
Yeah, can turn on the Mox Opal at a moment's notice with the Emery targeting Mistress Bauble, assuming Becky doesn't have something weird like Surgical Extraction, which I do not believe is in her sideboard. We just looked at it. It's not.
No. All right, so there's another fetch. Schirllo to 18. Another snow-covered island. Going to Emery back a Bobble. Here's turn 2 Oko.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay. No, you know what, though? At the very least, Oko helps these decks close the game. When they were playing Paradox Outcome, it just took so long for them to actually kill the opponent, even though they were ahead by miles the entire time. So you know what? I'm glad. I'm glad Oko has found a home in Modern. It really needed some help finding a home in Modern.
Right.
Now it's got this Simic Urza deck. I can't do it.
You tried.
I tried
you
so
gave
hard.
It, you gave it your best,
man. You told me I needed like one round, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It's just a great
We had a
card.
conversation. We're going to see a lot of Okos this weekend. We're going to see a lot of Simic decks, many of them Urza. So I told Todd, all right, we want to cool it going into the weekend so we can build up. So we want rising action,
Oh, we're okay. All right, I'm back down.
All right.
That was a trimmer. The earthquake's coming, baby.
A taste of what's to come.
Category 8 is on the horizon.
Foreshadowing.
Just stick around if you want to see me blow up about something.
So Oko elked up Astrolabe. That attack.
Dude, that's elked up, man.
That is elked up. Adlman sacrificed a Core Tribe Elder. Search for Tomorrow went off. Found a swamp and a snow-covered forest. There's a castle there. We'll see if she can have a Titan this turn.
Now, the swamp grab makes me assume that Becky actually cited in Abrupt Decay as an extra piece of answers to various things that could be problematic. That Blood Moon, answer to Blood Moon is actually huge.
Blast Zone is land number 5.
Yeah, and that does come in on 1, so it can blow up the Astrolabe. The problem So Schirllo can just get it back. Thanks to Emery. Becky here looks like she's consulting with one of her teammates to try to figure out the optimal line. One of the benefits of these here team tournaments is, hey, I don't know what to do this turn, friend. Can you give me your opinion? You know what they say about opinions. When they're from your friends, they're okay.
That is what they say.
That is what they say.
Very common phrase. Abrupt Decay takes down Oko. That's where they landed.
I love you so much, Ryan. He just lets me do and say whatever I want. He just rolls with it.
Yeah, oh yeah. We're a team.
That didn't sound very convincing.
I will sink with the ship.
Now that I believe.
Yeah.
Man of valor. All right.
Bobble end step. Schirllo's going to draw for that. Draw for turn. Brings back Astrolabe.
Becky did decide to use the Abrupt Decay to kill the Oko, which will significantly slow down the clock from Schirllo and potentially give her some time to find Primeval Titan.
All right, so now Bimonte. Rob was just quick with the trigger, but now Bimonte up a game.
Seems like a lot of things are happening.
Couple spells, little Urza, you know.
Storm count is 6, I think.
Yeah. Artifact constructs like a 12/12.
Well, the Elk is not an artifact, so it's only a 4/4. It's not that big.
Well, in mathematics, the concept of similarity merely means there's a ratio between the two things. It's actually among the most meaningless mathematical terms.
I wasn't going to say anything, but the moment you started talking about math, I just thought, man, this is irrelevant. And then you confirmed it.
Oh, yeah.
You later confirmed my theory.
I never got to lay my good math beats on when I was working with Matthias because he would really get into the math.
Oh, yeah. If you try to argue with Matthias or Ross and you bring up math, they're just like, ho, ho, ho.
The other thing you understand about math. He feels the dead.
Do I?
Land number 6 for Adlman.
That is land number 6. It's also land name number 6
I'm
because of Snow Force.
Hey, you're using math right now.
Oh, my God. Somewhere, Ross just like, his ears perked up like a dog. He's just like, oh, somebody said math. I think the more important thing from that previous turn, though, Becky, no ramp spell to put the 7th land on the battlefield to start making zombies. You have to imagine she has something here that's interactive. What that is, I have no idea. I feel like maybe she should have used it more aggressively. And if she doesn't have anything, things are about to get pretty bad.
Yeah, no zombies, no titans. Now Schirllo's going to start going to work. Casting some artifacts to pump up that construct more. Astrolabe, Gilded Goose. 4, 5, 6. A 7/7 construct currently. Spins the Urza, finds Mystical Dispute. Gonna choose not to cast that one.
I think you can cast it till end of turn. So if Becky does have a piece of interaction, Schirllo can cast it later on. And because it's already been revealed, there's no window for Becky to play the interaction in response. That's assuming that she has something to play as interaction in response.
So I came up with a fix for Urza, I think. All right, so you know the card Chandra Torch of Defiance?
Yes.
So you plus it, you exile the top of your deck. You can cast that spell immediately. If you don't, your opponent takes 2 damage.
Yeah.
What about for Urza? If we want to fix this card, make it more fair, it still does a thing where you temporal aperture, you pay 5, shuffle your library, exile the top card, you may cast it.
Yeah.
If you don't, you lose the game.
Yes. Love it. Just yes.
Small tweak.
Small tweak. Can't play counter spells or you lose. What I would like to see, honestly, I think it would have been not only more flavorful for me, but also just way cooler if instead of having the fast mana effect that Urza has, just tap to do Tolarian Academy.
Sure.
You know, you do get the huge burst of mana, but you got to wait a turn, right? It's kind of a big deal. But you still have the enters the battlefield effect to make the construct, so, you know, it's fine.
Big attack came across. Adlman down to 6. Going to fire off Once Upon a Time at end step. Schirllo will then use that Mystical Dispute, and Adlman's going to catch that with Veil of Summer. Could have paid 3, but takes a card instead.
I think that's just a sign of weakness from Becky because she just is basically cycling the Veil of Summer here to try to draw Primeval Titan. Ends up finding it off the Once Upon a Time. Might even have a backup Veil of Summer, but really wanted to cycle it, obviously, because she could have paid 3 to get around the Mystical Dispute.
Really wanted to find something at least on the level of Primeval Titan this turn. She's very far behind. Got to do some catch-up.
Yeah, but the board that Schirllo has presented is not that hard to match. With a Primeval Titan getting some lands, Becky can generate a ton of zombies here. Now the question becomes, does she have another Veil Summer? Or potentially Cavern Souls, but
Land number 7, Misty Rainforest. Zombie forthcoming.
Yep, so that's one trigger. All the fetch lands basically make an extra zombie each time, which is nice. And then Becky here going to go ahead and cast Primeval Titan. Needed that extra green source to be able to cast Veil Summer while also activating Castle Garenbrig.
All right, Primeval Titan. Cast off the castle. Is that good? Looks like it is.
Yep. No interaction point from Schirllo. I have to imagine Becky's just going to get 2 more copies of Field of the Dead. That's going to make 6 more zombies, so 7 total. The fetch land can make 3 more, so that could be 10 total zombies this turn from Becky. And that is 26 power added to the battlefield thanks to just a single Primeval Titan found off of Once Upon a Time.
Not bad.
Not bad, for real, especially if Schirllo doesn't have Cryptic Command to fog, because at this point, basically the gates have broken loose.
Plenty of zombies in tow now. We'll get those. Must be digging in the token box. Here we go.
Okay. Can
5,
we just
6.
put 1 die on them, please?
What if we had a stack of 7 instead, though? Call it 9. Let's call it 10, rather.
I already did this very simple math.
Oh.
Ryan.
Mathematics and retention. Auditory skills and retention also important.
I'm from Alabama. I don't know what that word means.
I was saying that it's not clear if I didn't remember or wasn't listening.
I feel like that's a very common problem with Mr. Ryan Overton.
Both of those problems I have with some regularity.
You know what problem Nick Schirllo is having with regularity right now, right? It's brain-related. Also, because of the zombies.
Oh, zombies eat brains.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell did you just say? I'm actually no longer going down with the ship.
Oh, there's just Ninja Explosives. Forgot about that one. Whoops. Becky probably didn't forget about that one. But that's going to clean up a bunch of stuff on one side. That food token should be gone as well. We'll communicate that. Okay, there it goes. But Schirllo can also just check Field of the Dead every single turn with Injuring Explosives plus Emery. So next turn I would expect Becky to attack with a Primeval Titan going to get Field of the Dead maybe. Or not Field, Bojuka Bog maybe to try to snag it out the graveyard. But that is solved pretty easily if Nick just activates and puts it in the battlefield right now, you know.
Yeah, you really got to, pithing needle those explosives. You want your zombies to count, right?
Yeah, or you just got to kill the Emery so that it can't keep recurring that Injuring Explosives, you know.
Yeah, and that's tough. That's the thing about the Simic Urza deck. It can really put you in a squeeze. Adlman did have an Abrupt Decay earlier, but went for Oko. Oko is going to just beat you no matter what you're doing, given enough time. So it looked like it made sense then.
Yeah, I mean, with her at 5 life, if she didn't kill the Oko, it would have killed her by now. So
right.
She just made the play that bought her enough time to get to Primeval Titan. Has the Primeval Titan, isn't dead this turn. You know, that 6/6 blocker and the Scherer Tri-Builder both providing a reasonable amount of defense. But Schirllo looks like potentially still ahead here. Mostly thanks to the Injuring Explosives plus Emery keeping all those potential zombies in check.
Urza activation here. Snow-covered island.
Yep, hasn't played a land for turn, so can play that.
Doesn't lose the game.
All right, let's see if Schirllo here can try to figure out a way to actually get back ahead. I think right now we're basically at parity in a holding pattern. Becky getting to untap, though, could have a pretty dynamic turn, depending. The blast zone, she can start taking that up to 3 to eventually destroy the Emery so that the zombies start sticking around. Can also attack with Primule Titan and just go get 2 fetch lands. And then later, those can be used to just make a bunch of zombies at instant speed.
Yeah. So a second Gilded Goose made of food for Schirllo. So currently the old goose, the food, and the untapped land are leaving up explosives on 0.
Yeah, and notably the explosives can actually tap itself. It's weird. It doesn't actually tap to activate like a lot of those artifacts that sacrifice. So with Urza, it's particularly dumb. Of course, by dumb, I'm using the Magic slang terminology of that it's very good.
Oh. I thought you were just saying that it's stupid.
You know, little column A, little column B. Adlman going to confer with Caleb Scherer since his match is done. Basically playing two-headed giant now.
You been playing any Vintage Cube?
I did play a couple of vintage cubes. I have 3 trophies, I think. I'm very good at Magic.
You ever played with or against Urza plus Winter Orb?
No.
You know how that works? You seen this? You heard about this?
I know that it's a mono artifact and it gets turned off when it gets tapped.
Yeah.
Which is
you just tap it for mana on your opponent's turn, and then your land's on tap.
Love how old design works with the new design.
Just another reason to hate Urza.
Yeah.
In fairness, Urza was a very bad... a lot of people have this perception that Urza was a hero in the Magic lore. I know April King harps on this a lot, but
yeah.
Urza was a really bad dude.
I'm trying to make a good comparison without getting political. But
we appreciate that.
But I think that your assessment is correct. I think that Urza had a lot of power and influence a very long time ago in the game's lore. He actually was decapitated at some point, and his head was used to form the legacy weapon that was used to destroy Yawgmoth. So that's cool.
That's probably the most heroic thing he ever did was get his head chopped off.
Yeah, although he was still alive when his head was decapitated. He was like,
it's really weird.
He was just like yelling at Gerard the whole time he's in the legacy weapon. He's like, dude, stop! I'm still here. You know? I don't actually remember what happened because I read that book when I was 16 years old, and that was a very long time ago.
That's true. You're very old.
Thank you.
Yeah, we established that earlier. That's
no, that was way before 16. That was like 13. I am very old.
So Primeval Titan attacked, found Vesuva copying Blastone and Bajuka Bog. Dismember is trying to target that. Looks like Veil of Summer will save. Another fun one.
I mean, if it's used to combat Urza, you know, it's fine. Okay? This deck, fireplace. It's winter time. We need to get the fire started. Those Okos should make for some fine kindling to get the starter log going. You know what I mean?
Looks like there was an elk chump block. Schirllo at a 9 after the attack there. Arboreal Grazer deployed for Adlman.
That's the second Arboreal Grazer cast this match, both times putting in no land. You're seeing how bad it is as a top deck, for sure. Now, that Vesuva did copy Blast Zone, so it has a counter on it, and Becky does have the ability to get effectively 2 Blast Zone activations over the next few turns. You have to imagine she's about to tick up to 3 on the original one so that she can contain this Emery so that the Injured Explosive stops blowing up her zombies.
Urza spins, finds Urza. Schirllo casts.
Yep, that's basically a free Karnstruck token. Even though it's legendary, you still get that enters the battlefield effect.
Urza, that is. The Construct, for some reason, not legendary, even though it's pretty clear what that's doing in terms of the flavor of the card.
It's like Karn's first body or whatever. I don't know.
Approximately that.
Yeah. I mean, Karn was just a big dumb golem, right? And then he gained sentience via the spark. You know, basically Terminator. If you think about it. And, you know, he was made around, what, 95? 96, whenever Tempest came out? I think Tempest was when he was first.
Terminator 2 came out in 1991.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, like, you know, could be modeled after the Terminator.
Could be.
Because he was.
But he's very unlikely to be, seeing as his character is a pacifist.
Well, at the end of Terminator 2, he was the. I forget the actor's name.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, the other one, the kid.
Oh.
That grew up to be kind of a weirdo.
I don't think I ever knew that actor's name.
Edward Furlong? That's it.
I think you made that up.
Okay. No, Edward Furlong was trying to teach him to not murder people and be a bad guy. And
He's trying to teach him to do cool things.
Yeah, and also whenever he was like, yes, I eliminate them, he's like, no, don't do that. He's like, why not?
The kid's like, I just want to ride my bike and listen to Guns N' Roses on my boombox. And Arnold was like, okay.
Yeah. See, hasta la vista.
Now you, sorry, I didn't mean to spoil the movie. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, you didn't really spoil it. Because you're just making stuff up. Pretty sure there were no Guns N' Roses playing.
The opening sequence of that movie, he is riding a motorized bicycle with a boombox, playing the song. Oh God, what is it called? I'll get it. But he is listening to a Guns N' Roses track. All right, so there's a Dismember on the top of Schirllo's library. Got there with the Mystic Sanctuary. Adlman now attacking with a Primeval Titan. Got to figure some more zombies are on the way. You Could Be Mine. That's the song in the title, in the opening sequence of Terminator 2. Can you imagine the things I could be doing with my brain if I put useful or interesting factoids in it?
I cannot. You'd basically solve all of the world's problems.
6 more zombies deployed. Looks like a Field of Ruin and a Talaria West.
And it looks like Schirllo is going to go ahead and pop a food here to gain some life. And cast. Oh, excuse me. He's making black mana to cast Dismember for less life loss.
Must have been drawn off of a bobble or some such.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And here's the block.
Yeah, so that Dismember plus the block from Urza should contain the Primeval Titan if Becky doesn't have any more responses. And then the explosives should clean up all these zombie tokens. Primeval Titan down. Zombies cleared. Becky doesn't have a fetch land, but does have at least one land to play from hand. Of course, the Titan was shrunk -5/-5 from the Dismember, so it is gone. And it was only 1/1, so the Urza sticks around. Shields are down, though, so if Becky has a good follow-up here, can use the Blast Zone to take care of the Emery so that the injured explosives can't come back anymore, and then can maybe play a land or a ramp spell from hand to make some more zombies.
It's the Blast Zone that was cranked to 3. That's going to solve the Emery. Blast Zone for 1 is going to solve a lot of other gunk.
Oh no, not my Boil Grazer! But that's a pretty impressive turn from Becky Adlman.
That was a land played. I believe that should have made 3 zombies there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll catch it. We'll get it sorted. Pretty sure it should be 3. But the Secure Tri-Builders do represent a ton more zombies coming across over the next few turns. I can only imagine that unless there's another injured explosives or something there from Schirllo, or running cryptic commands, that this game is basically over. And if all he's going to do is spend with the Urza, then this game is way over.
Things tied up on the back table. Diamato And Bimonte going to game 3.
Well, it looks like Schirllo's doing the Hail Mary. Going to try to hit a Cryptic Command off of the Urza activation on Becky's turn.
Could also hit can he? Yeah, with 2 artifacts, explosives on 0.
Yeah, explosives on 0 off the top is certainly fine.
I think this is something that Dom Harvey was saying on Twitter, though. Once you get 3 Field of the Deads going, you can power through a lot of stuff.
Oh, for sure. I believe Becky is going to end up winning this game. And she's even playing more conservatively here, not getting all of the zombies, just in case that the miracle from Schirllo does happen via the engineer explosives. Also has Field of the Dead at the ready, so as long as she has enough basics to cover it, has a bunch of potential zombies at Nick Schirllo's instep.
So there's 6 zombies now because
And
that
game
Tribe
number 3.
Elder, and yep, Mystery Rainforest is not going to do it after that Urza activation. So Schirllo was able to put a lot of stuff on the battlefield, had Emery with engineered explosives that could fight over some zombies, but Adlman is able to make more and more zombies to find Blast Zone with enough time to clear the Emery and really just destroy all of Schirllo's permanents.
Yeah, that was a really impressive turn cycle from Adlman, but because we don't think that these players will be able to finish their match in the allotted time, we're going to switch over to Giftstorm versus Bant Snow, and if Bimonte is able to win this game in time, their team will take the match 2-0.
Bimonte on the play, fetches Flooded Strand for Snow-Covered Island, down to 19. Bant Snow versus Gift Storm.
Notably, they should have some small amount of time extension too. I believe we were holding them. We'll get confirmation on that, and I'll let you know in just a moment.
Arkham's Astrolabe draws a card. That's the turn 1 play for Bimonte. Diamato's going to crack a Scalding Tarn. See if it's 19 or 17.
Now these players do have 5.5 minute time extension, I've been told. So even though the clock is going to tick down to 0, they're going to have 5.5 extra minutes here before time is called. So they will likely be able to finish this game. And if Bimonte wins, then it'll likely be the match win for his team.
The find off of the Tarn is Breeding Pool. Diamato to 17.
I don't know how common it is, but I watched a match earlier where Paul Frodo, God, I can't remember his last name because I just Paul Muller, sorry. I interacted with him on Twitter a lot, and it's just Paul Frodo to me now.
Sure.
Anyway, so Paul Muller, I was watching him play Storm, splashed green for Veil Summer, seemed pretty smart. Also had a bunch of fetch lands for snow basics and was playing Astrolabe as another way to help splash. So very basic heavy. Was able to potentially play Blood Moon, which is nice, and doesn't take damage from Shocklands like basically ever.
Fair enough. Second land for Bimonte is Misty Rainforest. No further action, though, as we go to Diamato, Spire Bluff Canal into Baral. Looks like Bimonte has some action on that. You don't want to let that one go unchecked.
Yeah, if you have a Mana Leak or something similar here, it needs to be cast to take care of it, because these creatures that generate extra mana out of the Storm decks are where they get most of their juice from. Usually they cast it and then they wait a turn, untap, then go off. Effectively, those creatures give them a free Black Lotus or more on the following turn.
So it's a fetch shock to 16. It showed a Celestial Purge. That's not going to play against Baral. And actually, Bimonte wasn't even just playing the wrong card. He just thought he was tagging an Electromancer, so he's still at 16 with no effect there.
A pretty big misstep.
Goes to his turn. Field of Runes, land number 3. Teferi Time Raveler will bounce the Baral.
These players are under a time constraint, so there was no white mana used to play it. It just needs to tap the Astrolabe. These players are trying to finish their match in time, so apologies for that, but we got that fixed. Now this could be a hard combo turn here for Diamato, since the Baral is back in hand, but I've seen it happen before. Those Brawls and Goblin Electromancers really give the deck a lot of mana generation in spots where you might not even necessarily think that you're dead. Sometimes they just cast the mana creature and kill you on turn 3.
Spiral of Canal number 2 is land number 3. There's Baral.
And a Braid here to kill the Astrolabe. Interesting.
Turn off the white mana.
Yep, at least for a turn. Efficient mana usage, too, because you get to play that 2-mana spell for only 1. Of course, need to play it at sorcery speed because of the Teferi. Can't wait around and tag like one of the equipment or anything like that.
Teferi goes to 2. Flooded Strand is land number 4. And Bimonte will pass. Keep in mind, currently the match record is 1 match win for Bimonte, Petrilli, Schirllo. D'Amato or Adlman have to win their match to earn a draw, and they both have to win to earn a win.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough to do given the small amount of time left in the round. I have to imagine at least one of these matches are going to end in a draw. And if it's this one between Bimonte and D'Amato, I don't know if Adlman and Schirllo have enough time to finish their game 3. So we could be looking at a draw, but Bimonte could pick it up, or Schirllo could take a fast win to get the match for their team.
Baral knocks Teferi to 1. D'Amato is going to crack a Scalding Tarn.
Well, I saw everything the same. I don't really know what you're saying. That's fine.
Now, I assume that D'Amato is just going to go for it this turn. Cannot imagine he can wait too often. But Teferi is going to basically force him to play at sorcery speed for the rest of the game. So no end-of-turn gifts and givens to start a counterspell battle. Just kind of has to find stuff and just do it as it's drawn, you know.
Opt. Scries to the topped.
Opt to the topped.
Goblin Electromancer.
It's funny, he actually just gave a tell that he has Veil Summer, I think. May not have it, may be a bluff.
Well, doesn't really matter if he has it, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying. May have given it away on accident.
May have suggested it on purpose.
That's also true. Doesn't look like he has one in hand, so.
Now you're going to see Bimonte fetch and shock to actually Celestial Purge something. Goblin Electromancer exiled. I believe D'Amato at 16 and Bimonte at 13 now.
All these players are just kind of developing. Just want to point out Bimonte is a huge fan of my stream. Him and his fiance watch all the time. Loves my sub notification. That's just the old Quiznos commercial.
The Sponge Monkeys.
Yeah, I call them sub rats. We're not going to have this debate.
It's not a debate. You're just wrong.
That's fine. They're also not real things, right? Or are they real things? Please tell me they're not real things.
Well, they're a real piece of cultural phenomenon. Yeah.
Okay.
They originated on the website rathergood.com.
I've heard this.
Yeah. They sang a song about the moon, and then for some reason, the people who own Quiznos decided that these horrifying monsters would make people want to eat submarine sandwiches.
They are stuck in my head forever, so I think they did a great job. I don't necessarily want Quiznos, but the name Quiznos will always be associated with that horrific memory.
With the sub
And
rats.
now, my stream channel, twitch.tv/StrongSad. Just got to throw that one in there.
Shameless.
It's not that shameless. It's pretty shameless.
It's totally shameless.
It's very shameless. All right, so both players kind of jockeying here. Just kind of playing card draw spells, playing a little bit of interaction here or there. Field of Ruin took down the green source, so no potential main phase Veil Summer, so give him counterspell protection for a turn, but the tick up on Teferi and then the attack Teferi to 1 just keeps happening. Looks like Bimonte's hand is just full of counterspells. It's going to be pretty hard for D'Amato to fight through them. I think that this is going to end up being a draw.
D'Amato plays land number 6, has a 3-card hand, and one of them is just another land. Kind of rough going. Monte is going to play an Astrolabe.
Picked up a Mystic Sanctuary. Had access to it for a long time via that Flooded Strand, but can play it now just since it was naturally drawn to get something back. Chooses not to. I'm fine with that. Getting back something like Opt is not really ideal. And I don't think you want Celestial Purge considering the situation. Celestial Purge does have some applications in this matchup, though, especially after sideboard. A lot of these Storm decks play the 3-mana enchantment.
Aria of Flame.
Aria of Flame, yes. Love Aria of Flame. Card's excellent. A great pivot for decks that use instant sorceries and usually use the graveyard because you no longer have to use the graveyard.
We saw Drake Sasser win an open with Storm with some Aria of Flames.
Drake the Gate Sasser. I never really understood. He played
Nexus of Gates.
He played Nexus of Gates like one time. And he just drank the gate test.
Yeah, it was just he had a good. It wasn't even his best tournament finish, but it was a pretty good tournament finish. It was a top 4 in an Open, yeah.
Yeah. No.
No, it was a classic.
Yeah. 'Cause he didn't top 8 the Open. I remember that.
Yeah. But Drake the Gate just works.
Also, I remember I called him Drake, the Drake Sasser once, and you were just like, "Oh my god, what are you even doing?"
Yeah.
That look you're giving me right now, that's the same look you gave me then.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Repeal, a pickup here from D'Amato. Going to try to bounce the Teferi. See. Ooh, never mind.
And just on Astrolabe, so you can cast it for 1.
All right.
It's like Storm's at 3. It's been Opt, Manamorphose, Repeal on Astrolabe.
Yeah, the 1-mana Repeal, draw a card here, potentially giving D'Amato the right combination of things to potentially go off here. Now, whether or not he can go off through a counterspell, I doubt.
Past in Flames, it's going to be exiled by Force of Negation, exiling Mana Leak.
Okay.
Empty the Warrens. All right, 12 Goblins. That ain't bad.
12 Goblins here from D'Amato. It's going to potentially get him this game. Unless Bimonte has something like Supreme Verdict. He can buy some time. Maybe get a draw in this
All right. I was gonna be secret about this, but I see Rob has updated the graphic. You see Nick Schirllo did end up winning Game 3 in pretty quick fashion there, so it's gonna be Bimonte.